Do you know what this, and this have in common? And also this, and this? They all contain one ingredient, palm oil. Palm oil or palm kernel oil is made from the palm fruit. It's used in countless products and is part of a growing $70 billion industry.
Es un ingrediente del pan de bolsa, de las galletas, del chocolate, del jabón que usamos para bañarnos en el día a día.
The palm oil industry has grown continuously for more than a decade. An estimated nearly 80 million metric tons of the stuff was produced globally last year. But the industry comes with a huge environmental cost. One of the biggest criticisms is that rainforests are often cleared to make way for palm tree plantations, wiping away local biodiversity and reducing the amount of natural habitat for animals to live in. Now, calls are growing to either ban or transform the industry. But how? The future of palm oil coming up on Transforming Business. To see what the global palm oil boom looks like on the ground and what efforts are being made to make it more sustainable, we've come to Colombia, one of the top 5 producers in the world. Some of that palm oil is produced on these plantations operated by Colombian agro-business Gremca. It produces 37,000 tons of palm oil a week, used primarily in food and for sustainable aviation fuel. But despite the economic potential of cultivating palm oil, here in Colombia, there's a growing awareness of the environmental damage.
Los desiertos verdes son básicamente ecosistemas donde hay muy poca diversidad.
Angela Serrano Zapata is a professor of sociology who studies palm oil value chains.
¿Cierto? Donde una especie vegetal domina el paisaje por miles y miles de hectáreas. Y yo diría que hay 3 efectos ambientales importantes. El primero es la deforestación, ¿cierto? El segundo es la pérdida de la biodiversidad y el tercero es el uso intensivo de fertilizantes y pesticidas.
That's why the Roundtable on Sustainable Palm Oil, known as the RSPO, exists. The RSPO is a governing body made up of growers, manufacturers, producers, importers, and retailers, along with non-governmental organizations that have come together to agree on a common standard for sustainable palm oil growing, pledging to stop cutting down primary forests for plantations and to have an effective water management plan in place, for example. Though it has no power to enforce its standards, it's regarded as the leader in the movement for sustainable palm oil production and has growing influence on global practices. Still, the RSPO estimates that today only 1/5 of palm oil is produced according to their sustainability standards. That's one reason European biotech company SME is making this. This is cultivated high palmitic oil. In other words, lab-grown palm oil, without the palm. That's because it doesn't need the soil or sun in Colombia or Indonesia to grow. It's made in this laboratory close to Munich, Germany, and it's made from yeast.
You can culture it in a tank, in a fermenter, like it is here.
Pavel Elizarev is SME's chief scientific officer.
Yeast were not very unique, Humans, plants, yeast, they do accumulate oils. But the question is, if you want to use oils across the industries, you want to get a lot of these oils, you want to get the right oils, then you are kind of limited in terms of what kind of organism you can use.
Different yeast strains are fermented in tanks like these until they produce the desired amount of oil. Then the oil's genetic profile is analyzed to see how closely it matches up to what the scientists hope to get. Every oil has a specific profile. This one is avocado oil. SME says the benefits of lab-cultivated oils extend to the environment and the consumer.
What is a big advantage is if you do this production in a yeast, you 100% control the process, the yield, what is in, what is out. So you are sure by time you will get this amount. You're not dependent on supply chains, and your quality is also very stable because you control everything.
Many of the oils and butters found in our grocery stores are grown in tropical areas, prone to extreme weather events caused by climate change.
Because of the climate change, cocoa trees don't like to produce what they should produce anymore, and it's always a problem with harvest. So when you have big volatility in the supply, and then of course prices change a lot.
And now cocoa butter is also one of SME's products. Well, cultivated cocoa butter. But SME isn't interested solely in replicating butters and oils already on the market. They're also keen on discovering and optimizing new ones, using their neobank of yeasts, or NOI, a self-developed AI database that includes more than 1,000 different yeast strains and analyzes them for characteristics that might be desirable to clients based on their unique needs. Though most of the world's palm oil goes into food, a significant amount goes into cosmetics and chemicals. The rest is used as biofuel. SME says gaining approval for new ingredients tends to be faster for cosmetics than for food, so they've broken into that market first.
We see the demand on the market.
Viktor Sartakov-Korsov is the founder and CEO of SME.
The companies who are working with the fat oils have issues, challenges in their supply chain, or they would like to find alternative sourcing. In the beginning, they were buying in Asia these oils, then they started growing the oils in Europe, and now they are looking the same composition, fatty acid composition, or the same oil but from biotech solution, from fermentation.
SME's palm oil, oleic oil, and shea butter became commercially available last year. Yet the company insists that replacing oils extracted from plants and nuts with ones cultivated in a lab is not their mission. SME's CEO says it's comparable to when digital book readers came on the market.
You remember, of course, the Kindle. You not disrupt the book market. No, you just propose a new idea how you can read the book.
In the near future, SME hopes to operate laboratories close to the production sites of cosmetic clients.
We would like to build not the big plant, how it maybe exists now in general. Like you build a huge facility and you produce thousands of tons in this area. And then you should deliver this oil to your customers. In our case, we believe we can build cost-effective production, but small.
Small and local.
You don't need to transport it, maybe, something like a few kilometers to your production plant of your chocolate stuff or whatever. So you use minimal amount of the ground, minimal amount of the water, and you are by definition locally producing this palm oil.
While SME is developing an alternative to conventionally cultivated palm oil, some critics say the product should be banned outright. But the Roundtable on Sustainable Palm Oil is against a complete ban, arguing that boycotting palm oil is not the solution. One reason is that palm plantations yield more oil than other alternatives on the market. For example, 1 hectare of oil palms makes more than double the amount of oil than a hectare of sunflowers. And banning palm oil would threaten the thousands of workers who rely on the sector.
La palma de aceite o esta industria es la mayor generadora de empleo y empleo formal.
Oscar Cifuentes is Gremca's general manager.
Desde la semilla, la siembra, la cosecha, el mantenimiento, el riego y la sanidad son actividades permanentes que este cultivo necesita.
The economic importance of palm oil cultivation is especially apparent in this region, where a reported 70% of local men work in the industry. One of them is Fernando Javier Chari Madariaga. He employs traditional methods, cutting the oil palm fruit by hand and transporting it via carts pulled by buffaloes and mules. He says it's impossible to overstate what this work means for him and his family.
Todo porque de acá ha dependido todo, la educación de mis hijos, mi estabilidad económica en la casa y lo poco que hemos adquirido ha sido gracias a esta labor y a este trabajo acá en la empresa.
No es por temporadas como otros cultivos que son por cosechas en determinadas épocas del año. Este es de manera permanente y por eso esa contribución a un empleo en zonas rurales y empleos de calidad con toda la contribución para fiscal o el efecto de todos los beneficios laborales que eso implica.
That's something Angela Serrano Zapata agrees with.
El aceite de palma hoy es el aceite más consumido en el mundo. Por ende, digamos, toca la vida de todas las personas en el planeta como consumidores, pero también, digamos, transforma a lo largo de largas distancias entre el consumo y la producción la vida de las personas que la producen en países como Colombia.
According to Fede Palma, the country's National Association of Palm Producers, nearly 200,000 people's jobs depend on the palm oil sector, an industry that makes up 17% of Colombia's GDP. For Gremco employee John Jairo Anaya Armenta, palm oil is an essential and irreplaceable economic force.
Vea, estuviera en situaciones críticas. Pienso yo que el Copey no crecería tanto como está. Cada año siempre hay un nuevo barrio y siempre hay mucha gente trabajando aquí en estas palmas.
In Colombia, unlike in Indonesia and Malaysia, large producers commonly coexist with small-scale holdings. Experts say that creates unique risks for certain regions.
En los últimos años, más o menos en los últimos 15 años en Colombia, hubo una plaga que se llama la pudrición de cogollo, que en municipios como Tumaco, en el occidente de Colombia, o Puerto de Wilches, en el nororiente de Colombia, arrasó el 85% de los cultivos de palma.
But Colombia's tropical climate bodes well for future cultivation, as do forecasts for increased global demand for the product. According to BBVA research, Colombia's palm oil cultivation has expanded at an average rate of over 6% over the past 2 decades, making it the largest producer in the Americas. There's a growing awareness that economic potential and environmental impact need to be balanced. From efforts to impose growing standards in Colombia to developing a lab-cultivated equivalent in Germany, palm oil is not going away anytime soon. The point, say insiders, is not to replace a market, but to make it more diverse and ultimately more sustainable.
It's such a huge market of oils and fats that I believe it will be a place for everyone.
To address growing demand through creative solutions rather than increased consumption. Thanks for watching Transforming Business, and subscribe to our channel to make sure you catch our next episode.